Mike Hemming, Portage head baseball coach. Mike, I guess I've been starting off right away with all the guys asking about the practical joking nature of this team. You've been on the receiving end of a couple, one including one last night. I guess just talk a little bit about your impressions of the fun that these guys have.
Sometimes you wonder how much time they got on their hands after they get done with a practice sometimes or whatever. But like I had said, they're very creative and they follow through and they get pretty good results. There's no question about it.
Does it surprise you at all who the ringleaders are?
No, not at all. Not at all. No, not at all.
Mike and Travis, I
can't do it right now.
Mike and Travis, that's their personality, huh?
Yes, it is. I have a theory, and Mr. Walker just started to really like it, is that when freshmen become sophomores, sophomores become juniors, juniors become seniors, every year they get a little bit more bolder, they get a little bit more talkative, they get a little bit more cockier, and seeing from Travis's year as a freshman, all of a sudden to a senior, seeing Mike Jordal as a sophomore, all of a sudden, it's two different kids. Just to see how they've kind of progressed in terms of how comfortable they've gotten around us now.
How does that translate, I guess, that personality trait, that characteristic about this group, how does that translate for them to the success that they've had on the field? Is there a correlation at all, do you think?
Oh, I think so, absolutely. They just have that feel about them, is that if they collectively work together and give it the best shot, that they're going to do it. And I really feel that way. They just have that great chemistry, and they rally around each other. There's no question about it, is that if somebody is not doing the best, they want him to come up the very next time, or then they sometimes feel responsible that they got to get his back the next time, and so on. It's just been remarkable to see some of the things that have happened this year.
You said the other day when we talked that this group, talking about their practical joking nature and the stunts that they pull, they don't go halfway. If they're going to do something, they go all the way. And then you kind of made the connection of that's why we're going to state. Is there a certain kind of characteristic about this team where they don't have a kind of a halfway nature about them? They go all in and they work their tail off, huh?
Well, I mean, if you can be in the regional final down by 4 runs on another team's diamond and believing that they can do it, and which they did in that 7th inning before that first pitch was thrown, they were up in the dugout, they were cheering it on, they had their talk about how they're going to go do it. Same thing here in the sectional final. With all these people around, maybe they can look around and just say, hey, we gave it a good shot. No, they rallied. They said they were going to do it. They verbally said we're going to go out here and do it. And then for them to go and do it, it's just fun to really watch happen.
Talk isn't cheap with this group, is it?
No, not at all.
What's the most fun, or I guess the stunt that they've pulled that you like the most, huh?
The stunt that it has to just be the Christmas trees. The concept of that, I didn't know what was happening. A lot of times they go see Coach Walker at these basketball games, and they were counting down days and things like this. And when I would be helping out my son Zach as a manager on the basketball team, I would say to Coach Walker, I'd say, hey, so what do the guys have to say? I don't know. They come over and they say the stupidest things. They talk about numbers. They talk about weather. I have no idea what's going on with those guys. I just ignore them. So the whole concept that they were plotting and saying the days that it was going to happen and the weather and everything, and then for that to actually fruition that they did pull it off. Completely surprised. I mean, how many other people have you ever seen a stunt like that? I'm really glad is that it snowed, because plan B was to get out, was to dig some holes and plant those trees, and I don't think that would have gone over too well at all. So I'm glad it snowed and that they did it. They did it with class. I just think it was awesome.
And you didn't have to clean up any of that either,
no,
so you can appreciate that one a little more.
But to be honest, I'm still clean. If you take one look at my car, I'm still trying to get paint off that. And there are a couple windows that I refuse to do at the house, just because it's always fun to remember it, and even my prank was good from the standpoint how they ever were doing it while I was in the house, going from room to room, and I'm just what I do in the house is just like I'm at the game. I'm pacing all over the place, talking to my wife about the game and this and that, or I'd see one of my daughters and we'd start talking, or I'd see my son Zach, so I'd go from room to room, and how they ever caught it it was my son Zach that finally caught him and raced out the door to see what the heck was going on. So nope, it's just been a great group of kids. You never want to say that one group's better than the other because every group is special in their own way. But obviously, this group, getting to state and some of the things they have done, have made them a unique group and a special class.
What did you learn from 2006 that I guess is helping you in this week of preparation that you're kind of looking back on and finding that it's maybe a little easier this time because you've done it once before?
Well, it wasn't easier. It was not easier. Every group is different. Every game is different. Every team that presents a different challenge than they did 2006, without question. It's just the fact that I think when the preseason expectations came out, when we were preseason ranked third in the state, we had the sectional in our own backyard. I think the concept of that Portage baseball has gone to state before, okay, that it can be done, and that this group says no, they're going to be the next group to get it done. I think that played into it, and they knew it was hard work. They hear me talk about some of the different things that happened in 2006 and so on, some of the close games that they had to win during the course of the season and the tournament games. Same thing in the sectional final back in 2006. We were down 2-0, all right, and right away, and they were hitting our best pitcher at that time, Matt Cable. So that wasn't easy. This road definitely wasn't easy as well, but you still had groups of kids that are just competitors and know how to get the job done.
But what about this week in particular? Anything preparation-wise, logistically that you've just found to be a little less stressful because you've done it before?
Well, I think we gave them a day off. I think we just gave them a day off from the standpoint of that it's been hot and so on, and they've done it. They've achieved what they needed to do to get to state. I think having a day off would help them to just kind of relax a little bit. I think you guys coming here now and building all the excitement up with talking to them and this and that, I think it's been huge. So I think back in 2006, I think we had like a couple days where we kind of just scaled back a little bit and time to reflect it, because you don't want to go too fast with these kind of things. It's been a great experience.
You mentioned the preseason expectations,
yep.
the ranking. I guess did that do anything for this team? Did you have to have a talk with them? Did that set expectations a little too high, or did you guys just basically put that out of mind?
I think at times it was a distraction. We always felt like we were the team that everybody didn't want to play and we had nothing to lose at times. Now, bam, now it's imprint that no, Portage is the team. And I think we played a little tight at times. And I think some of the games that we went into and it seemed like we had to fight and claw to win, well, that was us a couple years ago, having nothing to lose, and now it's to the point where every team is giving us their best shot, and they're playing a little bit with nothing to lose as well, and I think that had something to do with it. And I think we just kind of got to a point where we just started to really feel comfortable as a group, 1 through 9. As the year goes on, every player is going to go through something. Okay, you just hope that the next guy can back him up and so on. And I think that's what's definitely helped us here make our run towards the end.